Welcome back to the Falcons franchise here on Madden NFL 23. And this video is going to be a little longer than usual because in this video we're going to be recapping what we did in the offseason as well as showing highlights of all three preseason games for the third year of this franchise. So let's get it started with what we did in the offseason. Now, Casey Hayward was the only person to retire for us. And it works out because I had to decide whether or not I was going to bring him back, and instead he just decides to retire. So I'm glad I got to send him out with a ring, and I'm glad that I don't really have to make a decision on whether or not I'm going to re-sign him. But now we move on to who we do have to re-sign, and the first guy that we're looking at here is Cordarrell Patterson. I did want to bring him back on a team-friendly deal because he is 33 years old, but unfortunately, as you're going to see in just a moment, he did not want to come back. He didn't have a whole lot of interest, but obviously doing a team-friendly deal really just kind of screwed us out of getting him back. So I appreciate what he did over the past 2 years, but he is gone. But we did end up bringing back Kyrie Blasingame. I think he played a big role in Ronald Jones having the season that he had. So we're going to bring him back on a neutral deal right here. And it's not very expensive, and he does come back. So now we got to bring back center Matt Hennessy as well. But his interest level isn't very high because he wants to go somewhere without an income tax. And we don't have a mentor at the center position. So even with a neutral deal, he decided he wants to test free agency. But honestly, the biggest shocker here is Chris Lindstrom increasing his interest in us after us winning a Super Bowl. And then we offer him a player-friendly deal, which I didn't think he was going to accept, and he accepted it. So we get Chris Lindstrom back. That was like the big worry for me heading into the offseason. And I did want to bring back Carl Nassib, but he's also up there in age, and I think I'm ready to move on from him anyways. But I did offer him a contract. He declined it. I even offered Glenn Mallard, the guy who has a low overall but really performed well in the preseason. I offered him a 2-year deal, but he decided that wasn't good enough, so he's going to free agency as well. So I wasn't initially going to bring back Brian Edwards, especially with him having such low interest in us, but I'd give him a player-friendly deal, and he accepts it, so we keep the receiving core together. I mean, I'm really surprised he didn't go elsewhere to try to start, but I will take him back. And I also decided to offer Deion Jones a neutral deal because he really wanted to come back, and I have a lot of faith in Troy Anderson, but outside of that, we don't really have anybody behind him who I really feel confident in, and I'm not going to bring Jalen Smith back. So Deion Jones will get re-signed, and he'll probably finish his career as a Falcon. And we also decide that we're going to offer Jake Bailey, and he actually signs with us. So that's it for re-signings. Now we go to free agency, and there are some big names here. Y'all saw Jay Jettas, Justin Herbert. Derrick Henry is in free agency as well. So is Rashawn Gary and Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons is a star dev, 91 overall, and 27 years old, and one of my favorite players for my favorite team. So I decided to give him an offer, and I think he's going to be a huge upgrade for Carl Nassib if we do bring him in. And to replace Gardner Minshew, I decided to bring in Mitchell Trubisky, aka Mitch Trubiscuits as I call him. And to replace Cordarrell Patterson, I decided I'm going to sign Tyreek Cohen to a 3-year deal. And to replace Matt Hennessy, I decided to go after the former Cowboy, Tyler Biadasz, and we'll see if we're able to sign him as well. And we're going to go after another Cowboy, or a former Cowboy, in Trayvon Diggs, who's like a hometown hero for my area. And Simmons, Biadasz, and Cohen sign after the first eval, but Diggs and Trubisky are still mulling the deals that we offered them. And in order to get some more depth at the middle linebacker position, I decided to go after Monty Rice, another former Titan, go figure. And then I decided to also go after Jeff Okudah, just in case Trayvon Diggs fell through, but also to give us some depth at the corner position. And then I found a guy who played for the Saints, and he's a star dev, 70 overall, and he could be good insurance for Derwin James, or I could move him to the middle linebacker. And after the second eval, we signed Trayvon Diggs, so now we got the combination of Diggs and AJ Terrell. That is going to be deadly, and I can't wait to see what these two do. Now, even though we did sign Diggs, I still wanted to bring in Jeff Okudah just because he gives us a lot of insurance as a dime corner. So we'll bring him in, and he decides to sign with us, even though the Giants were making a push for him. So our secondary is looking very strong. Remember, we still have AJ Terrell, we still have Rashad Fenton, and we have a lot of other guys as well, Derwin James too, and Richie Grant. And we also ended up signing Monty Rice as well, and we signed Bill Johnson. So we have some good depth both at middle linebacker and safety now, and we're going to be a problem defensively. I think we're going to be a lot better than we were before. So now we go to the draft, and the first overall selection for the New York Jets is quarterback Mark Falla, who was created by my boy Parker the Hurricane Thomas, who is now a channel member over here, so big ups to Parker. Go drop Parker a sub as well. I'll drop his link in the description. Second person who was picked to the Indianapolis Colts is Percy Percival, who was created by Raider Bear, who was a longtime sub and a longtime member as well. So now we'll go to our first round pick, the final pick in the first round, of course, since we won the Super Bowl. And we don't have a lot of needs, if we're being completely honest, because I addressed most of them in free agency, but I decided to go left tackle and pick DeMarcus Holiday out of Alabama. And the truth of the matter is, I'm just not very confident in what I have with Jake Matthews. He's getting up there in age and hasn't really been getting a whole lot better over the past couple of years, so I just think it's time to replace him. And Holiday has some pretty good stats, as you can see there, and he ended up being a 72 overall for us. Now, he does have to get better as a pass blocker. As you can see, his pass block is 66, so he's going to have to improve on that before I really feel comfortable starting him at left tackle. Otherwise, Desmond Ridder is going to get killed. But either way, I think this is going to be a good pick, especially with the hidden dev. And then with our second round pick, which is the final pick in the second round, I decided to go with the speedster at cornerback, Brian Orchard. Now, I already know that we're pretty stacked at corner at the moment, but I liked Orchard a whole lot from the standpoint of what he can do as a return man. And as you can see, his speed, acceleration, and agility are all over 90, and so is his change of direction as well. So this is somebody who could turn into a return man, because we didn't bring back Corey Ballantyne, and Patterson's not back either. So Orchard ended up being a hidden dev as well. Now, his coverage skills could definitely be a lot better. I mean, a 68 man coverage as a corner is really bad. But again, he has hidden dev, so I like his chances of getting better as we move forward. And we're mainly going to focus him on special teams anyways, so I think it was a good pick for what we want him to do. So now we go to the fourth round. We didn't have a third round pick, but I decided to go with a left guard and Taylor Quincy. He ended up being a normal dev, but he is a Florida State guy, which kind of played a role in me picking him here. He's only a 65 overall, which is kind of bad, but he has 88 impact blocking and 84 strength. So maybe we can develop him moving forward, but I kind of just wanted to get some more depth on the O-line in general, and maybe we'll see if he can be Biadish's backup as a center. So now we go to the fifth round, and again, we don't really have any huge needs, and I didn't really take scouting all that seriously just because I knew we were most likely going to contend in year two. But I decided that we might as well go get some pass rusher depth, and Philip Davidson is going to be who I pick right here. I really like his acceleration. He has 91 acceleration, which is very useful, but he also went to Florida, so I'm not really a big fan of that. He ended up being a 66 overall, and his athletic stats are pretty good, but he does have to get better as a pass rusher, which is what we're going to need him to do. He is more of a coverage style linebacker, as I found out, but worst case scenario, I'll probably just move him inside. So now we go to the sixth round, and I decide I'm going to get one of these last two quarterbacks here just to compete with Trubisky for the backup job, and I decided to go after quarterback Glenn Kendricks out of Youngstown State. And he's very athletic at very least, but he ended up being a 56 overall and a 58 as a scrambler, and his accuracy is not very good, to be very nice about it. His accuracy is terrible, if we're being completely honest, but he's athletic, so maybe he can learn something behind Trubisky and Ridder, but I'm not really confident in that. And now we have the final pick in the draft. 7th round, 32nd pick in the 7th round. So Mr. Irrelevant is going to be tight end Jaden Macklin. And honestly, we don't really need any tight ends at this point because we still have Max Williams. I decided not to trade him. Of course, we have Kyle Pitts, and then we have Garrison Best, who we drafted last year. But for what he is, Macklin is more of a receiving tight end who probably could do a little bit better with blocking. I mean, he's like a 46 overall blocking-wise, but 61 overall in general. And his run blocking isn't very good, to be very honest, but he's going to be a long shot to make the roster anyways, and hopefully we're able to see something good out of him in the preseason. So just to show some of the other user players, Shrugs Hernandez, it's actually supposed to be Shugs, but this is Chumpy Gaddet's player, and he went to the Giants in the first round, so shout out to you, Chumpy. Then Williams Lamb, who was created by Prince Mateo Gaming, aka my boy Eagles, ended up going to Buffalo in the second round, so he'll be over there with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis and them. Then Javari Parker, who was another guy made by Toot Shiesty, he ended up going to the Commanders in the second round. And then Lucas 77 Balls player, Zakai Harris, ended up going to the Rams in the sixth round. And then 8-Bit Aztec had a player, Felipe Rodriguez, who was a third round pick for the Saints. That's going to do it for the offseason. Now let's get into the preseason. So we kick off our preseason hosting the Miami Dolphins in the first week. And I didn't play the starters very long in this game at all. But we went 3 and out on our first drive, and here's the punt. Big hit here by Jeff Okudah, and it's going to be recovered by D'Angelo Malone. So already the special team's looking strong. We'd end up getting a field goal here as the Dolphins take over, and then here is Arnold Ebiketie getting the sack. So now we have the backups in offensively, and Tyler Algier with a really good run. He's going to stiff arm a defender and get up to the 46-yard line. Very next play, Trubisky, he's going to go right side, and he finds D'Angelo McQueen, who gets up to the 31. Then that'd lead to another field goal. Now here is Gardner Minshew, the former Falcon, and he's throwing gifts to the Falcons as Jeff Okudah gets the pick, and he's going to get up to the 40-yard line. But then Trubisky going to go left side. He finds Alex Hardy, who gets up to the 45 as he's dealing right here. Now Trubisky's, well, he's going to throw across his body, which is a big no-no, but it works out for him this time as he finds Max Williams. Now here's Trubisky on the play fake. Throws over the middle. I don't know what he was doing there. Not a good decision at all. He's going to be picked off by McKinley. So now, Dolphins back on offense. They're going to cough up the football, though, as Monty Rice recovers that one. That was Troy Anderson on the hit. Now Trubisky goes right side. I mean, it was a good decision, but it was just a bad throw. And David Long Jr., the former Ram, going to take it back for a pick six, and the Dolphins take the lead. So now here's Glenn Kendricks in the game, and now he's going to overthrow McQueen. He's picked off there. And sheesh, these quarterbacks aren't very good at all. Dolphins will get into the end zone, and then Kendricks again. That was a bad decision by me. The other two, or the previous two at least, were just bad Madden plays, I guess. But now here's the completion by Minshew. The running back's going to cough it up, picked up by Anderson. And I probably shouldn't have played him that much in this game just because he is a starter, but he wanted some more reps, so. Now here's Kendricks throwing a dime this time to McQueen. He gets up to the 44. Now 1st and 10, Kendricks again. Gonna let this one fly, and he's picked off for a third time. Just for the record, I don't mind being a little loose with the football in the preseason because obviously it doesn't mean anything. Now this was the only game I played in the preseason before the update that fixed the interceptions and whatnot, so you're not gonna see as many moving forward after this game. So now 3rd and goal, Kendricks over the middle. He's going to find McQueen for the touchdown. So good play there by the rookie. But we go for 2, don't get it. And now it's 17-12. And a big stuff right here. And now we get the ball here. Now Cohen going to cough up the football inside our own 5-yard line. And that's not a great way to prove your worth. But here's a huge hit by Dane Cruikshank, who we also signed in free agency. And then Minshew going to be brought down for the sack by Adetokunbo Ogundeji. So now here's Trace McSorley, who we just signed in preseason for the memes, and then he throws a pick. So he's throwing it on a dime like he ain't even trying at this point. And now the Dolphins going to throw a pick themselves as Dane Cruikshank gets it. And he took it out of the end zone, and that probably wasn't a good idea because very next play, Cohen's going to get stuffed. And that is going to be a safety, so now we go down by 10. Now here is Minshew once again, throws right side. Big hit by Orchard, and it is going to be recovered by Graham. And now McSorley going to throw left side. He finds McQueen for the touchdown. McQueen's second of the game. And the Falcons are right back in this one. So 22-20 now. Here's Minshew. Rolling to his right. He's going to be hit again. Ogundeji with his second sack of the game. And he's making a case right now to possibly push Lorenzo Carter for a starting job. And then here's Bill Johnson, the new signee, playing some middle linebacker for us now. And now here is Avery Williams, who was buried on the depth chart last year, was actually a practice squad player last year. But he might make the team if he keeps running like this, as he has another big run for a first down. Now here's McSorley stepping up. He's going to scramble, and he's going to get down to the 32-yard line. That's going to lead to a field goal for us, but then they're going to get a last-second field goal to get the victory, and the Dolphins win 25-23 in the first preseason game, as Gardner Minshew had a pretty decent showing for the Dolphins, 14-21. It looks like Burke is going to be the starter for the Dolphins in general, but it's good to have a guy like Minshew there. Avery Williams had 8 carries for 41 yards, so really solid game for him. I didn't really like what I saw from Cohen at all. And then McQueen, 42 yards and 2 touchdowns on 4 catches to lead the Falcons. And then defensively, Dane Cruikshank had 7 tackles. He's going to be the backup to both Derwin James, and he's going to be a backup corner as well, so you'll see a lot of him. And then Ogundeji had 2 sacks. Glenn Mallard actually had a sack and a half as well. We actually got him back in the preseason. So now we go to game number 2. It's Falcons versus Jets. I had to restart this game real quick because of a glitch that showed their helmets just look weird. So DeJarvis Johnsonberg, who is Bears' second player, makes a big catch and gets a first down, and then a touchdown for Tyler Algier up the middle. That makes it 7-0. The Jets would score a touchdown, make it 7-7. Now here's John Fitzpatrick. He's still trying to stay on this team as he makes a big play there. Now here's Tyler Algier getting to the outside. Algier with a big run. He wants some more carries now with Patterson out of the picture as he gets the first. And then Trubisky going to cough up the football, though, trying to scramble. And the Jets would get another touchdown. It's 14-7. And here's Trubisky throwing a dime to Alex Hardy, who gets up to the 47-yard line. And now Trubisky keeping it on the read option. He gets a block, and it's a nice run for Trubisky. He doesn't fumble this time. And now 1st and 10. Trubisky going to let this one fly, and Johnsonberg with a catch, and he gets into the end zone for the touchdown. So Johnsonberg, who missed the first game due to an injury, he's making some big plays today as he makes another big grab. Good throw by Trubisky as well. And now here's Algier getting another nice run. We'd end up turning the ball over thanks to Trubisky. So now here is a good defensive play here for the Falcons that leads to a punt. So now we go to the second half, and here's the throw to Raphael Bradford, who was a fixture on the team last year. He gets to the 27. That wouldn't lead to any points, unfortunately, as Koo would miss the field goal. Now here's Mark Falla now getting some playing time for the Jets. He's going to get hit by Timmy Horn, however. And now 3rd and 10, big throw over the middle by McSorley for the first down. Now later in third, McSorley goes right side. He's going to be intercepted. I liked where he was going with that, but you just got to get there a lot quicker. And unfortunately, that's going to lead to a turnover. So now here's Falla throwing left side, and it's caught, but it's going to be coughed up. Big hit there, and then Lincoln going to pick it up. And the Falcons have the football back after a huge forced fumble. Now 2nd and 10. Here's McSorley going to Johnsonberg. He gets out of bounds at the 48. Now it's the 4th quarter. McSorley goes outside, and he's going to find Harbor, who gets up to the 31. We'd end up missing another field goal. And now here's a run up the middle for the Jets. It's going to be coughed up and recovered by Timmy Horn. And now the Falcons have a chance to take the lead here as McSorley goes right side. He's going to find Garrison Best. And he's putting his best foot forward to try to be the backup tight end as he makes a big play there. Now 1st and 10. McSorley going to scramble up the middle. He picks up the first down up to the 29. And now Younghoe Koo with 2 seconds to go. There's no way he's going to miss this one. Right on the money. And the Falcons win 17-14. But man, that was a sloppy performance by Koo. But Trubisky had a pretty good game, 10-22, 198 yards and a touchdown. McSorley, 10 of 20, 137 yards and a pick. Tyler Algier with 51 yards and a touchdown on 12 carries. Avery Williams, 54 yards on 12 carries. And then DeJarvis Johnsonberg, 134 yards and a touchdown on 5 catches. So this man might be a sleeper when it comes to being on this roster. Bill Johnson ended up leading us with 7 tackles, and he had a tackle for a loss as well. So overall, a solid performance for the Falcons in this one. And now we play our final preseason game, this one against the Buffalo Bills. And they'd have their starters in this game for 3 quarters, which is kind of wild to me. And then Trubisky in the third left side to McQueen once again. Now here's a run up the middle for Tyler Algier. He gets a solid gain. And then here's another 1st and 10. Trubisky on the play fake this time. He's going to throw over the top of the defense, and it's going to be caught by White. He's going to get up to the 24, and now here's Algier breaking a tackle. He is looking so good right now. I'm definitely going to get him a lot of carries going into this season. Now Trubisky going to throw right side. Caught by Garrison Best for the touchdown, and we tie it up at 7. Not really focused on highlights for the opponents in the preseason, but here's a big play here by Glenn Mallard, who ends the Bills' drive there. Now here's Trubisky going right side. He's going to find McQueen. McQueen going to get up to about the 38-yard line, and he's looking really strong this year. He's probably going to come into the season as receiver 4. And how about this catch by Max Williams? I mean, Best has looked pretty good, but Williams not trying to lose his number 2 tight end spot. Now here's Tyreek Cohen trying to make up for some bad performances early on in preseason. He makes a grab over there. Now here's Johnsonberg again inside the 15 now. He's looking pretty good. And he'll probably be receiver number 5 for us. And then Alex Hardy going to make the grab on this play for the touchdown. And we're tied at 14 now. And how about this throw to Hardy? Trubisky is starting to dime it right here against his former team. And he's going to find McQueen left side this time up to the 45. So now Trubisky once again over the middle. He's going to find Johnsonberg, and he's going to get up to the 29. Mitchell Trubisky is looking like an NFL quarterback right now against the Bills defense as he throws another dot right there. And then Tyler Algier going to cap off the drive with a touchdown run, and we take the lead here 21-14. And it ended up being a blowout in the third quarter. Trubisky's still in the game. He's going to find Johnsonberg up to the 50-yard line. And now Trubisky going to go left side, finds McQueen. He's going to get into the end zone for the touchdown. And it is 42-26 after we fail another 2-point conversion. And now 45-26. McSorley in the game now. He's going to dump it off to Avery Williams. And now 1st and 10 this time. McSorley going to throw the screen to Williams. And he's able to get away from the defenders, and he just barely gets the first down. And now McSorley again steps up, decides to scramble. He's going to pick up the first down, slides down at about the 45. Now 3rd and 6. McSorley throws off his back foot. He's going to find Best, and Best's going to get inside the 10 up to the 9-yard line. 4th and goal for the Falcons, and McSorley going to throw over the middle to White. He gets into the end zone for the touchdown. But Buffalo would end up winning this game 48-32. But again, I'm not really concerned with it. It's preseason. And Trubisky ended up having a really good game, 251 yards and 3 touchdowns in this one. Tyler Algier, 61 yards and a touchdown on 17 carries. Trubisky had 53 yards. And Williams only had 2 carries in this game as we were really focused on passing here. D'Angelo McQueen had 6 catches, 75 yards and a touchdown. Johnsonberg had 58 yards on 4 catches. And then Glenn Mallard had a sack and a half for us. But overall, we looked pretty good in preseason. We had our ups and downs, but now we're going to take a look at our opening day roster. Of course, Desmond Ridder, the Super Bowl MVP from last year, is going to be the starting quarterback. Ronald Jones still going to start at running back, but definitely expect Tyler Algier and Avery Williams to both get some carries. Tyreek Hill didn't make the team. I ended up cutting him. So we're going to take whatever cap penalty we take for that. It is what it is. And Calvin Ridley and Drake London remain the starting receivers. Brian Edwards is still the slot, but still expect to see a lot of D'Angelo McQueen and DeJarvis Johnsonberg as well. Billy Harbor actually made the team as well over some of the other guys just because I like his speed a lot. Kyle Pitts is still the starter at tight end, and Max Williams will be number 2. Garrison Best remains number 3. And the starters on the O-line, Jake Matthews, Bryson Hankins, Tyler Biadasz, Chris Lindstrom, and Craig Bennett. The real force to be reckoned with is this defense, especially the D-line. We got Alani Glenn and Grady Jarrett coming back as starters, and now we got Jeffrey Simmons as well. Ooh, that is deadly. Then, linebacker-wise, we have Anderson and Jones returning as starters, and Ebiketie and Carter both returning as well. But expect to see some Glenn Mallard. I really like what he did in the preseason. And then in the secondary, we have A.J. Terrell starting across from Trayvon Diggs with Rashad Fenton as the nickel, Jeff Okudah as the dime, and then Richie Grant and Derwin James remain the starters at safety. But expect to see a little bit of Dane Cruikshank in certain packages. And then as far as special teams go, we still have Jake Bailey and Younghoe Koo. Brian Orchard will be the punt returner and the kick returner. And then looking at our special packages, Rashad Fenton's still the slot guy. Ebiketie, Jarrett, and Simmons will be our rush guys. Our sub linebackers, Deion Jones. Edwards still the slot. Ronald Jones going to be the third down back this year. And then Algier will still be our short yardage back. So now taking a look at a few guys that we ended up signing, and we cut a few guys as well. I decided to bring in James Cook, the former Bill, younger brother of Dalvin Cook, of course. And I also decided to sign Craig Lowry. Both of those guys are going to be on the practice squad. And now we just take a look at the schedule. We open things up on Thursday Night Football against the Chiefs, and we go to Carolina. Then we take on the Commanders week 3, Raiders week 4, then Bucks week 5 on Monday night. Then we play the Chargers, Saints, Giants, Broncos, Packers, Saints, and Eagles in that order. Week 13, we have a bye. Then we go to Cincy. Then we go to Dallas. Then we go to Tampa for another Monday night game. Then we play at home against Seattle and Carolina to end the season. So I'm really excited to see what we do in year 3 of this franchise, coming off the Super Bowl victory last year. Can we repeat as Super Bowl champions? Well, you already know how to find that out. Make sure you guys hit that like button and hit the sub button if you're new to the channel to keep up with it. And turn your notifications on to join the notification gang. That way every time I upload a video, you guys be notified. We gonna keep this mofo rolling here on Cast Great Gaming. And if you want to see more from the channel, check out the playlist and the video in front of you.